Welcome to the Art Lady's home. Today I'm going to show you how I made these gladiola flowers, and they're going to go on a garden stake, and they'll be stacked up on the stake, and I'll show you the top view here. And they'll have here's a little one that's partially formed, and then they have some little buds, and it's going to look just like a real gladiola. And I painted this so that it's like a multicolored with a little bit of white in the middle. And these are about to go into a glaze kiln, but I wanted to show you how I actually made these before I put them in the kiln. So I'm going to trace out my pattern. And if you'd like to use these patterns, just click on the title and it will take you to a link so you can trace out your own. But basically you're going to draw a triangular shape, and then I come in the center of each triangle with a little dip, and then I do some ruffled edges, and I do two different sizes to put them together, and that's what forms a flower like this. Very easy to make. So once you have it traced, then what you're going to do is you just wet your edges. You're going to smooth out all your edges with a little bit of water. And I've done it before where it's just straight, but I kind of like the ruffled idea. Then it's just easier and quicker, because when you're needing to make them for the stack, I need to make about 8 of them. So this is just a faster way of forming them. So I rub my edges so there's no sharp edges. And then you can slightly pinch out right in here. Now on the pattern, it shows you here, there's some dotted lines that I just simply press right here. And the dotted lines are the cutting lines. So I just simply give a little press here, like so, that way I can layer them. But I'm going to finish this, smoothing out my edges, and then here's my press lines. And then once I've smoothed out the edges, then I kind of push the edges so it's a little bit thinner. So I'm pinching my edges like so. It's forming a slight point. I'm just going to rub it out a little bit. I don't want it to be sharp. So it's thicker here and it tapers. So I'm giving it a slight pinch. And we're going to create some natural ripples and forms, just little delicate kind of flowy edges, ruffly. And the gladiola that I'm referring to is a kind of a delicate one with 2 tones of dark pink in the center, and it has these ruffled edges that are really quite beautiful. I'm going to do it for both here. Smooth it out. The thickness of this clay is slightly under 1/4 of an inch. Smooth out your edges, and then just give a light pinch. And when you're pinching here, it kind of makes these beautiful ruffled look. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure it's completely sliced through. I'm going to give it a slight overlap. And I'm bringing this in, thinning out, make sure they're all kind of nice and delicate. Overlap, and then overlap. And so it forms a little cup. I'm just going to kind of bend it down. And then in the inside, I'm going to score it. Rough it up a little here. I'm going to put a pinch of kind of real thick slip in here. And then on the back of this, I could score it a little bit, I guess. And then this is pretty wet. I'll do some more slip. And then when I place the second one on, I'm not going to line it up like this. I'm going to line it up so that it's in between This petal's in between the other two petals. And then I'm going to press that in. And then I'm going to bend this up to give it some pretty curves. Now I don't want it to look like a triangle, so I'm going to bend this down a bit so it's more of a rounded. So it looks, and then maybe curve this. You want to adjust it so that it looks natural. Then I'm going to put a little bit more slip in the middle here. And then out of some scrap clay, I'm just going to roll some stamens, like so. And then what I do is I bend down one end, and then I'm going to split this right here down the middle, because that's pretty thick. And then I'm just going to round it a little bit. And then put a little bit of slip on the bottom. And then I'm going to use a tool to press in. I think I'm just going to use this one, like so. And then you can arrange this on the inside. Now, what I'm going to do on the back is I'm going to pinch this, and I'm going to smooth out my seams here, because I want to form a little bit of a nub, like so, so that I can attach it to the post. And I use zip ties to attach. And I also want to give it a little tap. So I'm just going to press. I'm just going to kind of let it wait, dropping it, but I'm supporting it as I drop it. That way it forms a flat bottom. And then I can put a little hole through it, and this will help. I do it first with a thinner needle tool. Now the flat bottom is needed so that it can sit in the kiln, like so it doesn't tip. So it's going to sit nicely. And then flip it over. And then I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. And I like to run it through a paintbrush. That way I have the thickness of my long handle paintbrush. And then when you sit it down to dry, make sure that you adjust everything the way you like. Because sometimes by bumping it, it gets out of shape a bit. And if you want this cupped a little bit, if you want to take a brush, you can clean up any of the insides from the slip, like so. And then you can even scratch in some lines here. That's where all the bright color is going to come from, the center. Now, of course, you can paint this any color you want to, any Gladiola color. But I just happen to like those two-tone colors. Oops. Let's see. I like the two-tone colors the best. And there you have it. That really easy Gladiola, and they're pretty fast, as you see. Let me show you in here what it looks like. And there's the nub. And then that's going to dry. I'll fire it, and then I'll add some underglaze. Now this was done with underglaze here. I'll show you this one. And like I said, this hasn't been fired yet. I'm gonna spray it so you can see the color. And once it's fired, it'll be nice and glossy. And the back I'm leaving white. There's the stamens right in there. I kind of feather the glaze as it comes in, as it goes from, this is going to be very bright, and then it's feathered out. And then I tip the edges with a little bit of the glaze as well. And when they're in the grouping, they just look beautiful on the stake. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned a little bit about how to make a gladiola out of clay. And be sure to comment and like the video. And for patterns, click on the title and it will take you to my Teacher Pay Teacher store. And there you'll find other clay items that might interest you as well.